Well, it's 6 o'clock by one clock I'm looking at, and 6:08 by another, and who knows what it is by another clock. So we're going to call the meeting to order. If Phil can lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we thank you, Lord, for this day. We thank you for all the blessings of life, God, and especially, Lord, the blessing of salvation. Lord, we thank you for that. And we thank you for the community that we live in, that we love so dear. And God, I just pray that we bind together tonight and make the most prudent decisions we can for our community, that it may grow and thrive, Lord. And God, we're living in a very uncertain time, Lord, and I just pray, Lord, that everyone in America would just stick together and just lean on faith more than fear, Lord, and just understand, God, that you are in control, and you will see us through this situation that we're all going through, God. Now, Lord, go with us the rest of this day. Be with those, Lord, that are less fortunate. Be with the ones that are in hospitals and are suffering tonight, Lord. I just pray, Lord, that you would grant comfort, grant healing where it's necessary, and grant comfort where it's necessary to those that are ailing tonight, Lord. I just pray for them. Now, God, go with us, lead, guide, and direct us. Grant us traveling graces back to our homes, Lord. These many favors and blessings we ask in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Y'all can join us with a pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can you just show that to the rest of the council? Police chief's wanting to show off the new hats for the police department.
I like it. I like it.
I like it.
They look pretty professional, chief.
All right.
I've been hearing that for months. But, getting on to serious business. To consider the agenda for adoption, we do have one addition under new business administration. Item 4 needs to be emergency conditions ordinance. There are no other changes. They'll have a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second, wait, but where's it going?
New business administration, item 4,
Okay, sorry.
emergency conditions ordinance.
I seconded.
Please vote. Carries 5-0. Item 5, we need to adopt the following meeting minutes. Item A, work session meeting of March 3rd, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Carries 5-0. Item B, executive session meeting of March 3rd, 2020.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Please vote. Carries 5-0. Next, under item 6, we have a census proclamation. They're not here to accept, so I will be signing that and giving it to Crystal to present to them. Number 7 is old business. Item A, administration. Number 1, a road abandonment resolution.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this was something we brought to you at your work session where Northside Hospital, Inc., which recently annexed some land into the city of Cumming, has requested that the city abandon Horseshoe Court. It's a total of 1.358 acres of Horseshoe Court. Northside owns all the property around it at this point, and they want to develop it and they want to include that as part of their development. Theirs is the only property that's served by Horseshoe Court at this point, and that is their request. All the notice has been given and or waived. It's required to be given by this, and so it's ready for your decision if you want to abandon this particular portion of the right-of-way.
Mayor, I've got to announce the recusal on this item.
Do I have any other questions or discussion? I have a motion to adopt the road abandonment resolution.
Make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Second. Please vote. Carries 4-0 with Christopher recusant. Next is item B, planning and zoning, the vehicle delivery ordinance.
Mayor, members of the council, this is also something that we brought to you at your work session earlier this month. This is the ordinance that deals with the way that vehicles can be delivered to automobile dealerships in the city. Again, the purpose of this is to make sure, to the greatest extent possible, we have vehicles either being delivered in the loading and unloading zones that everyone is required to have, or that they make arrangements at some private property in and around the city to have the vehicles unloaded there, and then they can be driven to the automobile dealerships. Happy to answer any questions you may have about this one.
Put it in a public hearing, or is this up to vote?
This does not require a public hearing. This is ready for a vote.
Have efforts already been made to notify the business owners, or do you know that, Phil?
I don't know if that,
I think they generate a letter to send to them and have Lenny take around to
But-
them.
But I mean,
Didn't you
we'll-
bring that up to try
I
to?
did, but I just wanted to make sure, when we enact this, we give them some time to get that letter and, you know what I mean?
If they've delivered those letters yet or not.
But they can do that in the next week.
Well, I know, but we had a issue today that would
But
have
it,
fell under this, wouldn't it?
yeah, but it didn't fall under it because we haven't acted.
We
on
hadn't
it yet.
acted on it, but I mean,
Another incident happened today.
did it really?
Yes.
Where was this one? Same
Highway
place?
20,
Highway 20.
in the middle of Highway 20. You know, so
But if we enact it today, though, and they don't know that, or maybe something happens tomorrow.
Be sure and send him a letter.
Give them some kind of grace period.
Chief, I want to direct you that if we pass this tonight, to get with code enforcement to make sure before any citations are written that they've been made aware of the ordinance change. Does that work?
That's fine. It's always in the discretion of the police department to issue a warning instead of actually.
They can handle it this week. And then after that, gloves are off. You know,
Like
it's, they've been told over and over, and that's what's brought us to this point.
Mr. Mayor, I got to recuse myself on this one.
All right. Any other questions or discussion? We have a motion to adopt.
Make a motion that we pass the vehicle deliverance ordinance.
Second.
Everybody please vote. Carries 4-0 with Joey Cochran recusing. Thank you. Next is item 8, new business, administration, number 1, connection for Scythe.
Yes, Mr. Bill Whitney was supposed to be here tonight to present this item. He is not here. I'm not sure where he's at, but anyway, this is for an event on School Street. It's a concert on School Street with some food trucks that he's wanting to do to benefit Connection for Scythe. There's no, it's not really a benefit. It's just a community event that he's having on May the 24th. He would like to do this. We would have to allow him to close down School Street only. Unlike the food truck events that we currently have, we would not be closing down any section or rerouting any traffic on Atlanta Road or Highway 9. That would be free passage on that.
Pilgrim Mill.
Yeah, Pilgrim Mill, we won't be shutting down Pilgrim Mill. All that'll be open. It would just be School Street, and he'd be using the parking deck. And I think he's also talked with Mr. Tam about using the parking lot there at the Playhouse.
What is the event?
It's Connection for Scythe, and it's a community event where they have a band come in and play, and they have a couple of food trucks come out, and just a gathering mainly. Connection for Scythe is an organization that works with people that are fighting chemical dependency and, also alcohol dependency too.
It's a
kind of a,
fundraising for the event for them. They just want permission for us to close down School Street.
Can we
for
do
their
that
event.
far ahead?
Hmm?
Can we do that far ahead?
Yeah.
It is the end of May.
Yeah, it's May 24th is the date he's got scheduled for his event. He was supposed to be here tonight to give you all a summary of what his plans are.
And I've talked to him. I think it's a good event for the community. It's a good benefit, you know, to help a worthy cause.
This is on Sunday?
Yeah, he had an event like this last year at Fowler Park. Everything seemed to go really good with it, according to what I've heard. And he wanted to do an event here in town since he's got a location that's right off Veterans Memorial Boulevard.
May 24th is a Sunday?
Yeah, it's Sunday, and it's from 1 to 5.
So that's, shutting that street down for that time's not hampering traffic. I mean, School Street, it's not.
On a
hampering
Sunday
traffic.
afternoon?
Yeah.
No.
So, any other questions or discussion?
I guess the only thing it's not our facility, it's our street, but I'm thinking when we rent other facilities, we have parameters and what they can and can't do. Do we think this might be a regular request that we need to?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Do we think this might be a regular request that we need to?
No, this is a
consider?
one-time event.
Well, his is, but I'm saying you think other people might.
That's a question, yeah, that would have
Well, even
to.
if we closed it down, a lot of times for an event, it's not a biggie. That street
Yeah,
is
but we don't
not-
want to be closing it down for a college frat to have a keg party.
Yeah.
I'm saying we don't have any parameters for, like we do with our other events.
I mean, he's aware that no alcohol is allowed, all of that. He's aware of that. I've met with him and went over that with him, that it has to be, it's not confined, so he can't serve alcohol, which he
Right.
wouldn't in this case anyway, because this is an organization that's,
Yeah, I'm not saying, I have no issue with that. I'm just thinking through,
and since he's not here, I mean, if you want to table it, that's fine too.
it's fine. If y'all don't think it'll be a big deal in the future.
Well, the whole question is, somebody else wants to do it, they'd have to come and ask for council approval.
Right.
So you're not saying, okay, anybody that wants to close down School Street can
Yeah.
just do it.
That's
It's
true.
a case-by-case basis, so they'd have to come to the council for approval. So I don't think it's setting any kind of precedent that, you have to do it every time either, I think it's a good community event. I don't see the harm in closing that one street down, for the 4 hours. And I think
They'll be
good can come
handling,
from it.
if they're approved to do this, they'll handle all the logistics. We won't have any personnel cost or
And
anything.
you got to access one street over. You want to vote on it?
Any other questions or discussion? We have a motion to adopt approval for the one-time event.
I'll make a motion that we adopt approval for this one-time event for Connection Forsyth.
One second.
Please vote. Carries 5-0. Thank you, Phil. Number 2, inmate medical insurance.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Gail Petrie, at our work session earlier this month, you directed her to bring back at this meeting a quote on some inmate medical insurance. Just to refresh your memory, that is for coverage for our police department from the moment they take someone into custody till all the way through the process. They've had issues in the past where someone either got hurt or got sick while in custody. We had to take them to the emergency room, and then when that happens, we're on the hook for the bill. This coverage would take care of that. At the meeting earlier this month, Gail gave us an estimate on what she thought this would cost us, this policy. I think she quoted somewhere around $7,000 for the policy. She actually got it cheaper than that. In your packet, you'll see a copy of the quote. It's $4,802. And you see the limits and the deductible for that. And this would, if approved, it would take effect April 1st through March 31st. It'd be on an annual renewal, like our regular property and casualty insurance.
Your deductible's high.
It is high, but, I mean, you have to consider, we did, if you had somebody that had a seizure or a heart attack or something while they're in our custody, if we take them to the emergency room, that's our bill.
I can't stop myself from doing it, so I'm just going to do it anyway. Is this based on the number of police officers that make arrests?
Yes.
So did they take the chief off of the list?
I don't think she counted him. I think she counted him as an
So the
administrator.
rate would be higher if he was on there? I don't want him to have an excuse tonight. Okay.
And we couldn't get anything with a lower deductible, though?
This is the only company she could get to quote it. with Sierra's America Insurance. She
But here's the
tried,
thing, if you take one guy and you gotta take him to the hospital,
Mhm.
the premium plus the deductible, you're gonna spend that just like that. It's only gonna take one instance that we're coming out ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, they run a real risk every time they arrest someone, a female, if she's pregnant and they don't know it. A seizure patient, it's a pretty big risk. One occurrence going to the emergency room is, you're gonna run through that 2,500 pretty quickly.
Plus the premium. I mean, you're gonna,
Right.
I think it's money well spent to,
Oh, I think so too.
To
I
do
just would like the deductible to be.
It is high.
And this is for injuries after they're in custody?
Yes.
Okay, so
And,
they're on
and
a-
we're responsible from the time we take them into custody until, even when they're at the county's facility, if it's our prisoner. Is that not right, Chief?
Like if they have a heart attack, it's our fault.
Right.
They accidentally bumped their head into the curb.
They'll refuse to accept them if they've got existing. That's correct.
so it's the in-between, or it's while they're at the jail too?
It's the in-between, and we have a medical facility at the jail as well, that takes care of a lot of these issues, so we never have to see it. So you may not have that deductible come up. But it's the in-between, it's the transport, it's bringing them to our court, any of those times when they're in our custody. That's when this gets triggered.
So if they're on a high-speed chase and they get in a wreck, that's not covered.
Until we take them into custody,
Okay.
they're on their own at that point, but once
But
we
at
take
that
them.
point,
I would
correct
think
me
it-
if I'm wrong, if, let's say they have a car wreck and we take them into custody,
Mhm.
and they gotta go to the hospital because of those injuries, we're on the hook.
We're gonna sit there with them, so that's our prisoner.
We're on the hook for all the injuries they just incurred by wrecking their car,
And this is a great idea.
And if we're the one that calls
you
calls
know,
911, it's gonna be us.
so it's money well spent.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Please vote. Carries 5-0. Number 3, the School Street Playhouse.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and members of council. The owner of the School Street Playhouse has contacted us and made a request that the city of Cumming excuse the March lease payment due on the property. His request is due to the fact that the scheduled theater groups that are during this period are canceling their productions due to the threat of the coronavirus. Therefore, he has no revenue coming in. So tonight, I'm seeking your direction on whether or not you would like to excuse the March lease payment on that property. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions or discussion for Phil?
How's April looking, do you know?
Well, Mr. Tam is here. You want to comment on
So
April?
far, right now, they are in rehearsals and moving forward. It's a much smaller cast of about 12 people, whereas this cast is 38. And
Well, keep us updated on all of it.
consideration.
This is something that's gonna hit all of America. It's not just here, it's everywhere across America. I'm a small business owner and our clientele is shrinking by the day. So it's something that everybody's gonna experience. So I see no harm in letting go of the March lease payment to help the business out.
I agree.
I agree.
So, do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the request of not paying the March payment for the School Street property.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Please vote. Carries 5-0. Thank you, Phil.
Mhm.
Number 4 is the emergency conditions ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we were just talking about the coronavirus, and that's what prompted this ordinance. The Georgia Open Meetings Act gives you the power to conduct meetings via teleconference so long as the public is provided simultaneous access to the meeting. Given the situation that we're in, we looked at that. However, there is zero guidance and there's no procedures that are laid out for how to take advantage of that. So that's what this ordinance primarily deals with, is how to take advantage of the ability to conduct meetings via teleconference. It also deals with the situation where if a member of the governing authority, if any of you should have to self-quarantine for some reason, it gives you the ability to still participate in the meeting via teleconference as well, if you're having to quarantine and you're not sick or something like that. The other thing that it does in here is it establishes through the City of Cumming charter power how to deal with public health emergencies, including limiting access to things like public properties of the City of Cumming, including City Hall. Happy to answer any questions about it. Just very, very simply, it requires a declaration from the mayor that conditions exist. Let me say this. This is not a declaration of emergency. That's something completely different that enacts police powers of the city to do things like declare martial law. That's not what this is. This is simply saying that the conditions exist pursuant to which it's in the public's best interest for you to conduct meetings via teleconference. You could also use this, for example, if we ever had a tornado in the city and you weren't able to get together, if some of you were caught unaware out of town and needed to participate in a meeting of the city governing authority, if there was a crisis in the city, it would allow you to do that as well. This is frankly just a good opportunity to go ahead and put this in place. Happy to answer any questions about it if you have any. I realize it's something we had to draft fairly quickly to get in front of you, but I think it's a good set of procedures. You have very clear guidelines, which most of the state of Georgia does not have, because this is the first time we're dealing with something like this.
Any questions or discussion?
Once it's enacted, how long does it last? Does it have a sunset, or does it just the declaration?
So when it comes to the limitation, if there's going to be a limit on access to public buildings, that has to be for a temporary time period, and the temporary time period has to be stated. When it comes in the mayor's declaration, when it comes to the emergency conditions for the conduct of meetings via teleconference, that is something that he will then issue a declaration again when the emergency conditions no longer cease to exist. This allows you guys to keep having meetings, keep approving contracts, keep the people's business moving forward while we deal with whatever we're dealing with on a more general public basis.
Kevin, if we did have to have a total teleconference meeting for nobody was here, how would we comply with the Open Meetings Act?
So simultaneous access does not mean the same access. Let me say that. If the six of you were well, you could all be here together and we could stream it on Facebook, stream it on YouTube. If we didn't have the ability to do that, for example, we could even set up call-in numbers where people could conference call in and just listen to what's going on. It doesn't mean they have to have the same access, they just have to have simultaneous access. In the event, though, that something, I'll use this, if let's say that, well, since you asked the question, I'll pick on you. Let's say that you're self-quarantining at a period where we're doing teleconference meetings. We might have you available for everybody else to see on FaceTime or on Skype while we're setting up to broadcast the meeting itself over Facebook Live or on a YouTube channel. Your IT department is working on that right now, and we'll have that ability set up for you as early as your April work session meeting.
Yeah, I read that, and that makes sense, but I'm saying, what if we all six had to call in or be on?
You're all doing it via Facebook Live or some other medium to where we're all logging in
Skype.
from our phones or our
You just have to-
laptops, and we're all having one big teleconference.
You just have to notify how the public can access that
Correct.
forum.
Yes, yeah, we'd need to notify the paper. They have to be provided notification of it. And that's actually, the notification procedures are all spelled out. We're to notify the paper, we're to post it on any social media we have, we're to post it on the door, and we are to post it on the city's website to make sure the public knows how we're going to be conducting meetings if we have to go to that.
Any other questions?
Well, no public hearings or anything like that would take place during this anyway.
So in terms of public hearings, that's actually something that we're working on. Right now, I do not believe that we're going to have the ability to have a public hearing during this process. If we can come up with a way, technologically speaking, that we can do that, then we'll certainly make that available. I would love it if we could move forward seamlessly and continue to have public hearings. I'm not satisfied we're there yet, but we're working on it.
Maybe
If
this,
we're not there, we would postpone a public hearing.
and maybe this will be over soon. This particular,
Right. Yes, ma'am.
But this ordinance is not enacting any of these measures. It's
No.
just giving us the ability to
Correct.
do if we need to.
That's correct.
And this just covers the council, not planning and zoning.
Actually does cover everyone if the mayor includes them in his declaration. So if the mayor declares that emergency conditions exist, and he says in his declaration, this shall also apply to these different, any of the agencies or committees or authorities of the city, then they're included as well.
Any other questions? We have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to adopt the ordinance as presented.
second.
Please vote. Carries 5-0. So now would probably be the appropriate time for me to declare an emergency situation that starting tomorrow morning, all city-owned properties, city-owned and operated properties will be shut down to public access. We'll still be open for business. There'll be notes posted on the doors as to how you can call in and still conduct business. Our street department's still gonna be working, the police department, the water, sewer, you name it. They'll all be working. It's just we're trying to help do our part to contain the community spread of COVID-19. Any properties owned by the city but are leased out to someone else, like the Brandon Hurd House, the Come and Play House, the Sinclair Station, that's up to those business owners as to whether they want to shut down or not. That's up to them, they're a leasee. I feel that's up to them to make that decision, but all our city employees will be here reporting for work. Business will continue, city will go on, all this will come to pass, and the city will be just as strong as it was before it started. So, moving on next, item B, the city center, number 1, report on proposals for the mass grading.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, tonight in your packet, you have submittals from 2 companies on this. They have submitted proposals on the mass grading work at the Cumming City Center site. Their proposals, of course, are in your packet. One is from Jasper Grading in the amount of $680,000 plus $65 per yard for rock excavation and removal. The other proposal is from Vertical Earth. Their total for the grading is $693,000 plus $68 per cubic yard for rock excavation and removal. After consulting with our engineer, I would like to make the recommendation tonight that we approve the low proposal from Jasper Grading in the amount of $680,000 for the grading work plus $65 per cubic yard for rock excavation and removal. I'll be happy to answer any questions this time.
Any questions for Phil?
We don't really know how much rock might have to be moved.
Not really.
And this is going from the engineer. They think, here again, this is one of those, you don't really know how much is under there. They've done borings and they've done their best to calculate it. They think it'll be 45,000 to 50,000 cubic yards of rock. Yeah. But we don't know till we blast it and we see. The other thing between the two, if you were to haul off rock from the site, which we don't think we're gonna have to, but if you were, Jasper Grading was at $85 a yard to haul it off site to the city's facility on Kelly Mill. And Vertical earth was $87 a cubic yard. If we had to do that. We don't think, in conversations with both groups, don't think we'd have to haul off, but if you did, then that's what you'd have to do.
Gonna
So-
figure a way to use it, huh?
Yeah, well, so there's areas on the site where we have some bad soils, like where we're gonna put the lake. It's called alluvium soils. It's almost like mush, right? But then there's hard dirt underneath it. So you gotta dig out all the soft soils and then put back something. So they could blast the rock in a way to put the rock as the base underneath where the new pond's gonna go. And then you're not taking out bad dirt, hauling in good dirt, hauling rock off. You could be able to use that rock as a base underneath that. So,
Did you say the engineer estimate, they think it might be how many cubic yards of rock?
45,000 to 50,000 is what he relayed to me. Big number.
Yeah. I had to bring out a calculator for that number.
Yeah.
I can't do that in my head. Wow.
But we don't know until they go to blasting rock, but it's kind of hard to
Yeah. No, I
figure
understand.
what's
I
underneath that you
understand.
can't see, that you can't quantify.
I
You
understand.
know,
Yeah.
so. But those were the two bidders, and those were their bids.
Jasper's the recommendation.
And I beat them both up pretty hard.
That price per cubic yard, is that kind of bad? That's 65. What was vertical earth?
It was 68.
Okay, so
68. So that's
That's a
them
pretty
blasting it,
standard.
that's them blasting the rock.
Yeah.
Then they've got to dig it all up, then move it.
Is that the total price, or is that just blasting the rock?
No, that's them blasting the rock, moving the rock, and leaving it on site, putting it somewhere else on site, then it's 65 a yard.
It's got to be done.
Vertical earth's 68.
It's got to be done. There's a lot.
No, there's no way around it.
Yeah, well, it's got to be done. I'll make a motion that we go with recommendation for Jasper grading for the mass grading.
A second.
Please vote. Carries 5-0. Next is utilities, number 1, report of bids for Oakwood Drive Storm Sewer Project.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I don't have my big screen, so I'm not sure if I can talk through this or not, but I will try my best.
Did they take your big screen?
It's kind of like a crutch.
They took our screens too.
Yeah.
This is a request to construct a project on Oakwood Drive. It's a stormwater project, and we advertised for bids, and we had 4 bids. And the low bid came from Vertical Earth in the amount of $512,181.17. We had Summit Construction and Development in the amount of $517,247.08. North Georgia Pipeline in the amount of $575,714.00. And then Townley Construction was the high bid at $698,121.50. And we're recommending that we accept the low bid from Vertical Earth in the amount of $512,181.17. And just for comparison purposes, our estimated budget for this project was $750,000. So we felt like we really got a good set of bids on this project.
Do we have sewer there now?
This is a storm sewer. I know we said sewer, but it's storm sewer. It's actually a bigger storm sewer pipe. There's a really
Drains.
pretty
So we
bad
don't have
problem
it
in
there.
there. Yes, ma'am. So we're going to fix that problem and help the flow and other drainage issues in the area. So,
And it was budgeted.
well, it's in our contingency project budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the low bid.
Second.
Please vote. Carries 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Number 2, report of bids, Mountain Road project.
Mayor and Council, this is actually an RFP. It's a report on proposals. We had 5 proposals. I'm still kind of learning the terminology on this stuff. Vertical earth was the low at $1,941,081.49. The high bid came from Surfaces Group LLC in the amount of $2,800,586.76. So we're recommending accepting the low bid from Vertical Earth again. And the budgeted amount for this project was $2,500,000. So the low bid from Vertical Earth came under what we estimated the project to be.
Explain the scoring system to me.
So the scoring system, the way we kind of worked this out, of course, wanting to have the low bid, we gave the low bid 80% or 80 points. 20% came from 3 staff members. It was myself, Tim Day, and Heath Martin. And we've worked with these contractors, and we wanted to make sure that, you know, we scored them according to our experiences with them. So it really fell pretty well with the low bid because we worked with Vertical Earth before. We gave them the highest score of that 20 points, and plus they got all 80 points for their low bid. So we felt like...
I was just curious as to how the scoring system, what...
And they're local too, you know, and that's part of it.
What is this going to do on Mountain Road?
So on Mountain Road, what we're going to do is widen Mountain Road so that, you know, we have dump trucks with a trailer loaded with a tractor. And currently we're pulling into our distribution shop up there, you know, right on Mountain Road, stopping in the middle of Highway 9, stopping traffic, turning that big vehicle in front of oncoming traffic, you know, potentially. It's a danger to staff members to do that and to the traveling public. But also it levels out that shop site. There's some grading in there. There's some walls in there. And what we're trying to do is the shop building really needs to be renovated. We're working on, the council allowed us to go and to request proposals to look
This
at.
adds that turn lane on to Highway 9 North.
Yes, that's right, and the turning lane in Mountain Road so we can turn in.
But it adds a turn lane, Highway 9 North.
Highway 9, it won't necessarily be a turn lane. Have you been up to, is it State Farm
Pass
Road?
lane.
It's just a passing.
Like a drive
lane.
around.
So it'll stay the same two-way traffic.
But
until
there's a way to
someone
go
stops.
around the traffic trying to turn.
Yes, sir, that's
It's gonna
right.
help traffic on Highway 9, that's my point.
Yes, sir,
GDOT's
that's
assisting in that, aren't they?
we've been working with GDOT. We're not sure what the outcome is quite yet with them. They're
So does
kind
this
of
proposal
difficult.
include that work,
It does include that work.
but we might get some back from
That's what
GDOT?
we're hoping for, and we're working. It may take a little longer to get that part done. We might have to actually put that off a little bit till we can get on GDOT's.
Mountain Road is the one
uh,
that turns there by that medical facility, right?
No, it's the
No.
one
No.
next to the,
Give me Mountain Road.
Water.
Where the water plant is at,
Bud Thomas's.
just
Oh,
before 306.
okay.
You remember the Tough Tractor factory years ago
Yep.
that Thomas is on?
John,
By the water department.
let's get together on that so that I can talk to the people I know at GDOT to see if
That'd be great, Mayor, if you could
they
help. me with that.
normally will do a emergency, they can give $250,000 towards a project
That'd be
for like
good.
an emergency type deal that I think this might fall into, so we might be able to save $250,000.
That'd help us, Mayor. It would if you'd help us with that.
So let's get together
Okay.
next week on
That
that.
sounds good. Sounds good.
This
John, is-
week's not good, next week.
Is there a turning lane, like coming out of Mountain Road into Highway 9?
Not currently.
No, but I mean, are we adding one that we turn right?
Yes, sir. In essence, it'll give
Get 3-lane now.
3-lane. Yes, sir. That's right. Mountain Road.
Coming in, one going to the left, one going to the right.
Yes, sir. In essence, there'd be I guess you'd call it a suicide lane, that's what they call them, where you can turn either way, but there'd be that in the middle. But then it would enable our trucks to come into the middle lane and turn into the shop, which would, I believe it'd be safer for society in general, the traveling public and our employees.
Right.
Are you looking at paying for this out of your budget or SPOS money, because it's road?
Mayor, we had looked at a water utility money.
So what do you think, Phil?
This out of his infrastructure. Not
Because all of it's road, right?
Part of it's grading for the site grading to lower
The
it.
bulk of it's road. I think I'd rather use SPOS money to do that. I mean, it's a road improvement, which is actually out in the county.
Right.
I think I would rather use SPOS money to do it than funds out of the water sewer.
Save your
Do that.
budget.
Particularly if we have it. I mean,
There's money in the account to do that. There's money in the SPOS fund to do that. Yep. Right. Yep, I would rather do it with SPOS money.
Well, don't you need to use the SPOS money?
Well, we got plenty of road projects coming up, but I would rather do it with SPOS funds.
And that will fill in that ditch on
I
the,
agree.
I guess, the south side of Mountain Road, right?
So there's part of that that'll have to come out of John's budget. The improvements on our site,
Yep.
that would come out of John's, but the bulk of that would come out of SPOS funds.
Yes, sir, it will. It'll help the drainage of the whole area. There's some drainage issues in there. We're trying to address those too, in the whole site.
Yep.
Does that add a gate up at that side of the building?
Yes, sir. It does not have a gate at this time. It will have a new electronic gate. The guys will have a, remote control. They'll be able to open it and close it so that, and staff members inside can open it in the event it's UPS or some delivery. They can open it for those types of trucks too to come in there, which I think that's also going to make the roadway safer.
Make it safer on
Yes, sir.
turning off at night.
I feel better SPOS money on what qualifies for SPOS and then your budget for the remainder, the gate and whatever grading on our site. That'd be my recommendation. Any other questions or discussion? I have a motion.
Make a motion, we approve vertical earth for the Mountain Road project.
do we need to specify the mayor's recommendation for how it's paid?
That's not typically what we have.
Phil knows what we want to do.
Second.
Have a second, please vote. Carries 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Y'all can thank the guy over your left shoulder over there.
Cutting the checks.
He takes care of all that. Number 3, reported bids for Baldridge Creek Pump Station replacement.
Mr. Mayor, member of the council, this is another, I would call this one of our most critical projects. Ball Ridge Creek Pump Station was built, I would say about 20 years ago, and it was built by contractors at no cost to the city. There's been a lot of growth along Freedom Parkway. Also at 369, we see the new Walmart that the county built and other surrounding businesses. This is a much-needed project, also budgeted for 2020. We had an estimate of $4 million on this project, and we were very surprised at the 3 bids we got. They're very close bids, too. So we had 3 bids, All South Constructors at $2,524,300, Soul Construction at $2,654,000, and Heavy Constructors at $2,703,000. And we have worked with All South before, and we would recommend accepting the low bid from All South Constructors in the amount of $2,524,300.
And And this was a budgeted item, correct?
Yes, sir.
Any questions or discussion?
Just, they didn't miss something that Andy was taking into account.
No, I think, the demand for contractors right now has driven the cost
I see.
up. The fear is always that they're not interested that much in the project and they're going to bid higher,
All right.
or that they've got a lot of work, or, that just the cost has been escalating recently. But that's a good price. It sounds like they're interested in the project, and they were so tight is a really good
Yeah.
indicator that it's a good, it's a good set of bids.
Is this adding a new pump or is it replacing an old pump?
No, sir, it's replacing an old pump station that now is undersized. It's a big pump station, and it receives a lot of flow. Currently, we've manipulated the system to where the wet well, it's like a big well. It fills up, and then it backs up somewhat into the sewer system because there's storage in the gravity sewer line that's coming down. That's like way above capacity. So this system is over capacity, and it's time to replace it. And I appreciate y'all approving this in the budget, and thank you for helping us with it.
Have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the low bid.
Second.
Please vote.
Thank you, Mayor and
By
Council.
vote. And next, report of bids for sewer crawler with camera and trailer.
I know, we've got some of the weirdest things I bring to you. This is,
I remember this one. The Moonwalker.
this one was in the 2020 budget also. This is a device, it's got tracks, kind of like bulldozer tracks or whatever, and it's something that's about this big. It also has a camera on it. You take it and you set it down in the manhole in the sewer line, and it'll crawl along the sewer line and take a video of that sewer line. And we've been, hiring contractors to do our sewer camera work. We have a small, what we call a push camera, that's kind of like a water hose, and you push it. There's only so much you can do with that, but these crawlers, they'll go from one manhole to the other and make a perfect video, and we can tell, if the pipe's broken or out of alignment, or if there are a lot of roots in it, or whatever, and then we can determine what type of work we need to do to repair or to do maintenance on the sewer line. So this was something that was budgeted, and we're requesting, we had some other bids. We put out an RFP and we gave specifics on what we wanted. We had some non-responsive, in other words, they didn't meet the spec, and then we had one that was a no bid. But JetVac of Atlanta is the only company in Georgia that represents this specific sewer camera crawler that we are requesting. And it's the same sewer camera system that Jackie Townley uses. So we've been working with him trying to figure out what the best camera system is for the city. And we think we've determined that it's this group, and they're a sole provider. The bid was $130,832.84. And we're requesting permission to purchase this sewer camera.
Questions or discussion?
Was this under or over the budget?
This was in the budget. I believe this was just below what we budgeted. I didn't really write that down. That was in the 2020 budget. I'd have to bring you that information back.
It's in line.
Yes, sir, it's within the realm of what we budgeted.
What's your warranty on it?
Warranty,
I can't see where it says any years.
90
days.
90 days. Well,
We need
I'm sure
insurance
there's
on
at
it.
least a year warranty on it, then we have to do maintenance on it. But it's in a tough environment, that's for sure. Is it 1 year? Okay, it says 1 year.
Expected lifetime? I mean,
A lifetime warranty or?
no, what kind of?
Oh, life
service we-
expectancy do we have on it?
Life expectancy.
Anything that's electronic is kind of like a computer, or it's got a camera, it might be like a cell phone. There might be maybe 10 years or so, we might have to look at replacing it, or maybe there's some upgrade that we want to do. Sometimes they'll trade in and then someone else will buy the lower end camera and you'll get a higher end camera at a cheaper rate, so.
We're gonna hold tryouts to see who's gonna be the controller.
Who's
Best
going to
gamer.
get to do
Best
the
gamer.
control? Folks that have video game experience,
Yeah.
Is this camera, equivalent to what the people you've been paying to do?
Yes, ma'am, it's the same brand that Jackie Townley and his group uses, and they do an excellent job cameraing. It comes with a trailer and like a video monitor, so you're watching what's happening. It's also recording that, so you keep a good record of it, and it goes.
We're gonna save money by purchasing this.
We would save money. I mean, what we'll do is employ it a whole lot more. We don't call the contractor as much as we need to. We
It's
need to be doing
expensive.
more of it. So this is going to enable us to do more sewer cameraing, which is to the benefit of the city, and we don't want to have sewer spills and sewer clogs because of the laws in Georgia that they give you a fine for it if you have a spill.
When we rent one, how much does it cost?
When you rent one, that's a good question.
Or
We
you
don't
hire
really
someone to do it?
rent them. We hire like a contractor
Yeah.
to run his.
Like I said, we're not.
That's a good question. I don't know right off. I mean, what's that?
If you lose it.
Yeah, and Phil was remembering better than I did that we've signed some POs, for $15,000.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
thinking 20, at times, to do a good swath of sewer lines. So over time, you're going to save that money, and then you're going to do additional work beyond what you call the contractor to do. So it'll be a benefit to the city.
Well, this is a complicated little thing, because if you mess up fuses, you got a problem. If you mess up voltage, you got a problem.
I'll make a motion, we approve the sewer crawler camera with trailer from Jetback Atlanta.
Second.
Please vote. Carries 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I
Thank you,
appreciate it
John.
very much.
Next, announcements, there are none. Executive session, there is none. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. Carries 5-0. Thanks, everybody, for coming.